And hello, everyone. Good morning if you're on my side of the globe. Good afternoon and evening if you're spread around where I believe you are. Hope everybody's doing well. Sorry for the reschedule yesterday. Some things came up and I needed to attend to them. But all right. And Monday, Tuesday, today's Thursday. This is how weird my week has been. So Tuesday, went on a quick trip with my daughter. We went and got some things done. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at something that came across in Discord, and I think it is a perfect example of something that is simple, that isn't simple, but then once you think about it and once you solve it, it kind of is. So, all right. Oh, it's not this one. It's the one. It is here. All right. So this came from somebody who, let me make sure that this is viewable. All right. So what came across, and I gave some hints. You can follow all this in Discord if you're new here and you're just running across our channel. We tend to only talk about one topic at a time per video, except if it happens to be a live stream, which we're doing today. And I'm actually experimenting and recording this at the same time because I did not. Hey Nico, how are you? I was unaware that with OBS, I figured it was a single path function, and you could not record. Let me move this over. There we go. All right. So like I said, this is in Discord, and you can go and follow along, and we're going to cover it here because I think this is a perfect example, and I think I named this engaging your Python brain. So because at first, because I try to remember, because more time that goes by, the less I remember what it was exactly like to remember the beginnings. But I think I kind of still remember, so I want to talk about this, where you read somebody's code and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. And then you turn the page and it's an example, it's a question almost exactly like the same question, but you don't even know where to start. So we're going to kind of break this down into little bite size of how to actually go through and kind of default and have a path, have some steps of how you would begin to not actually program, but kind of pseudocode and how you need to address this. So let's go ahead and get after it. So if you look here, the way that you want to start looking at things, and let's come over here, and I think I copied this a little bit. Yeah, let's look at this. So I use the term patterns and repeatability and things like this. So when you start assigning things, and especially what you'll notice is math is actually a lot easier to program when you begin to understand the building blocks of it. So what I did here is I took just one of the arbitrary, let's come back over here. So what it did is it breaks it out into a chart. It has some word problem scenarios where it gives you what it's going to be doing. And I think I took this example here, the first example. So for a gift of 6,000 euros, the recipient pays a tax of 180 euros. And how that is calculated is 100 plus the not the sum. Sum is addition. I can't remember what the remainder of 6,000 minus 5,000. So that's 100 plus 1,000 times 8%. So, all right. So let's go through and what I did here. So I started out with the 100, then the 6,000 minus 5,000, then multiply all of that by 0.8, or excuse me, 8%, 0.08. So what I was doing is I was beginning to understand how this came to be. Now, we can handle the programming here in a second, but this is a lot of the heavy lifting. So we're going to let the computer, the program, whichever term you'd like to do the math for us, but we need to design. When this dawned on me that I don't have to do the math, I can just design the formula. That step was huge for me. So we get to design the formula. We just don't have to do the math, and we're going to then let the program do the math. That's one way I want you to think about when you're designing these type of functions, scripts, programs, whichever you want, however way you want to describe it. So the way that I did this is I was like, okay, so this first bucket. So now we need to start handling the buckets of decisions. So I use the term bucket or path interchangeably, and if you've been around a week or so, you've heard me say that. So now we need to come about and begin to create what we're going to do. So the first thing that jumps out to me is basically, I can't highlight this and if you're just jumping on, this is a question that came through Discord, so you're able to see this chart. It's on the server. If you've not joined the Discord server, there is a link down in the description below. And it's in general chat, and it was posted by Jacked. So we're going through, and we're looking at how in the world are we going to design this. So if we look really close, first two big buckets that we have is between it has to be, so it's 5,000, 25,000, million, and up. So really we have two. If we're going to do this very explicitly, it's basically a gift below 5,000 and any gift above 5,000. So those are our first two buckets. And then inside the 5,000 or above, then those buckets break out. All right. But let's make sure that we understand this. So so I took the sentence that they gave us, and I broke it out. So it was 100, 6,000 minus 5,000 times 8%. So it's this. So that scenario would be between. So it's the minimum tax. Then I'm subtracting between the lowest number of the gift range. Okay, wait a second. So okay, so there's the minimum tax and the minimum base, the starting point. Okay, so this is now starting, and then if it's in that group, I multiply everything by there. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So if you're just jumping on here, what we're doing is we're going through a question. Let's see, if gift greater equal to greater than or equal to 5,000, do this, else let's just do print no tax. All right, so now, what is this? Oh, telling me I haven't set up gift yet. First example was 6,000, I believe. Let's go back. We're just going to do our first example. First gift, 6,000. Yep. All right. That's the one we're going to use first. All right. Now, like I said, 2 big buckets. And then we can then you can begin to break these up into smaller buckets. So paths. Let's not get too crazy hung up here, because what you want to do is you want to make this dynamic as possible. So the gift, and then inside of here, then we go, okay, if gift between, let's see. So now this is the way that I like to do this, because my brain can function in between. So 5,000. So I'm able to do this. And if you look really close, it's going to go 5,000 and 5,000 less than or equal to gift, and then less than or equal to, what's the other range? 25,000. That's a pretty big range. All right. So if you look really, really close at what I did here, and when I first read this and I first found out that this was an option in Python, so I want you to look really, really close. Gift is in between these two. So I always start with my lower range, put my variable in the middle, and my upper range. And if you look at the number line, these fall in a line. And then I don't have to think about it, because these type things, if I overthink these, if I make these, why didn't I go there? There we go. If I overthink this, I can make this, I can over-engineer this too much and make it complicated. So now, all right. So my gift stays the same. Now here, my min minus min, what do I want to call this? Base is 5,000. So my tax percent, can't have a tax, can't use a special character. P, my tax rate equals 0.08. All right, does this make sense so far? So here's my example. Can I copy that? I can't. No, it's an image. I can't grab any of it. So let's go through. And then also my min tax, we're just staying, let's change this, rate staying consistent equals 100. All right, so we're going through here. Call this base. So let's see how we have this. We have our, I think I can, that'll still highlight, perfect. All right, tax min, our gift, we're in this bucket, our base 5,000, and our tax rate. Boom. Now the reason why we're doing it like this is because basically all we have to do is copy this and move this down and just change these accordingly. So what is the next, what's our next bracket? It is, ooh, this is, if we look really close, this should be 24,999, because you're going to have, I will tell you from doing taxes for decades, this, you can tell that a student or a teacher, a grad student or a teacher made this up, because there would not be any overlapping. So the way that, so we're going to kind of correct this a little bit. That would be 24,999 because you couldn't have these to be both. So there's a little bit of discrepancy in the problem. So we're going to fix it right here, 24,999. All right. So let's make sure we have, again, double check. We have our gift. We have our tax rate. Bingo. We have our tax min. Now we need to design the formula, right? And it's already given to us. We've just assigned variables to it. So taxes equals tax min plus gift minus base times tax rate. All right. Everybody see what I did? I corresponded my word example right here, and then I then assigned variables to it. So when I came down here, these become interchangeable. So when I do this, boom, boom, boom. And the only thing then I need to change, so I come LF, so 25,000, right, correct? And then the next will be 54,999. 54,999. Now, what is this minimum? 1,700. It is 1,700. And the base 25. You following me? And then we go tax rate 10%. Okay, we're going to go really slow. I know we've had a couple people jump in and out. What we're doing is we're going through and we're setting up, right now it's not a function, it's just a script, of taking a Discord question. And it looked like some homework, but the person who posted it has already solved it. So I felt very good, and I felt very confident that they'd solve it. But they jumped on here and were very concerned that they weren't going to be able to figure it out. So what I'm doing is, what we're going step by step to do is to really engage our Python brain by building the building blocks of how in the world to go about solving this. I feel like that might be a little bright. And let's turn this on. It is so dark outside. It wants to rain so bad, because where I am, it's really starting to get it's on the edge of summer and fall, and it's a weird time of year around here. It's trying to get cool, and it's cooling off a little bit, but it's going to get hotter one more time, and then it'll be football weather. All right. And that's a big time of year. Football and fall, big time of where I am. All right. So everybody get what I've done so far. We had our word problem, basically, right here. And what we're doing is we're taking those building blocks and we're converting it and building a formula right here. And we're converting it to a formula so we can use it at a later time. Did somebody post something? We got some new members. Awesome. glad you are joining us today. I think we're at 310. We have been gaining a lot of members on the server. So thank you very much for joining us. If you have any questions, that is the fastest place and best way for me or somebody else to respond to the question, because you can share code. Chat's okay, or chat for stream is great, but putting a comment in a video, it may get lost in the shuffle, and especially if you're commenting on an old comment, that gets really weird. YouTube doesn't do the best job of finding that. So, all right. So we're going through, and we had two big buckets. If it was to be taxed or not to be taxed. So anything over 5,000, greater than or equal to 5,000, it gets taxed. Anything below that doesn't. Now, if you look at it, inside the taxable rate, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 buckets inside the bucket, and that's weird to think about, but that's just a nested if statement, or in Python, an indentation, another layer. That's why I like the white spaces and the tabs in Python so much, because it's so readable, and it's like, okay, if it's in here, I do this set of instructions. If it's out of here, I don't even look at this. So we've done 5,000, and we've made a little bit of tweaking because this problem is designed, because this is not how how tax codes would look. It would be 5,000 to 24,999 through here, and then 25,000, boom, boom, boom. So, and trust me on that, been doing taxes for a couple decades now. All right, so here we are. So if we look, we had the base, so there we go. So base. I don't think we could maybe, this would actually be something that would be very, very cool. We could actually make this even more dynamic and make a dictionary object up here that a tax range, tax rate for tax range. How could we make that key? That would be something we could think about, because then this range, because if it's anything like the governments where I live, these ranges change all the time, and instead of having to come through here and change this, hard coding all of this, we would make this a dynamic and either have this feed from a table, or we would have this feed from a dictionary, so we wouldn't need to be coming in all through here. Now we'd have to come up with a bunch of different variable names, but we'd call this probably level 1 min, level 1 max, and go through there. But we're not doing that right now. What we're doing is we're just making a very, it's a little dynamic, but we're going through, because this formula does not change, just your variables inside of this range. So if you understood what we did, range, we change, and everything changes. The base changes, the rate changes, and the minimum changes, but the formula does not. That's why I wanted to do this example, and I'm very glad Jack was able to figure this out, because I was chomping at the bit, and I gave them a hint. What I said was turn in, because this is exactly how I would have done it. Turn the numbers into variables, and you have it. Because, look really close, exactly right. That's your formula. That's the math problem. And that then turns into the taxes that are due. So let's do this a couple more times. I think we had 5. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. All right, let's keep moving. One at a time. LF. Now, so the next range. And if you're just jumping on, make sure you're hitting that like button for me. I really appreciate it. And if you've not subscribed, please make sure you're hitting the subscribe button and joining the Discord server, because we are having a lot of good questions over there and a lot of good discussions. So now, 55,000 to basically 199,999. All right, so let's do it. 55,000. Was it 200? So 900, 999. Double check. Yep. 999,000. So the base. And what's the minimum? 4,700. And what was the rate? And the rate was 12%. Now we're getting a little expensive. And again, nothing changes here. All right. Hang on one second. We got another good question. Let's see. We'll look at that in a minute. But thank you for joining us. I wonder if can I have two? I don't think I can have two Discords open. But I'll take a look at that in just a second. Who was that? Jayanth? Very cool. All right. I appreciate it. We will take a peek at that when we get done. All right. So we are, let's see where we are. We just did bracket 3. Now we need to do bracket 4. One more. We're almost done. And then we'll be able to look at this. Probably not going to answer. Is it? I'm feeling that's a homework problem. I'm assuming because I don't. The point of this channel is for you all to learn, and I'm very hesitant to. If you're really stuck and you're really having a problem, I will help you as much as I can. But I'm not a big fan of doing homework because you're honestly robbing yourself, and I'm here to help you and encourage you to learn programming and learn Python. So there we go. But job update or old job update. Finally got everything sent back, got all my paperwork, signed my separation agreement, and now the severance pay should be on its way. They say it could take up to 6 weeks, but a whole bunch more rejection letters. But I understand that it's going to take a while. So it will be what it will be, and just trying to just keep swimming and gonna find the right place to be. Felt like it was a recruiter for a second, but I think it was a completely automated because it said sponsored on LinkedIn. So kind of got my hopes up for a minute there, and then got an automated response saying that I didn't match anything at their company at this time. And I was like, well, your recruiter reached out to me, so that was a little disappointing yesterday, but it is what it is. All right, so now 200,000 to 999,999,999. All right, 200,000. Oops, to 999,999. Let's see, is that enough nines? Was it a million? Was a million. So 200,000 to 999,999. What is that minimum? That minimum is 22,100. 22,100, and a tax rate of 15. And again, nothing else changes. Now, let's think about how we designed this. So we took this two big buckets, right? Taxed or not taxed. That's the way we designed it. So if it is below 5,000, no taxes. Anything above 5,000, it gets taxed. So now we are in the tax region. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hang on a second. feel like, oop, I was just redundant. So now, else, because we don't even really need an elif. All right. Let me bring this over here. Let's see what we got going on. Okay, given a string containing just characters and return the length of the longest valid well-formed parentheses substring. Can I make this bigger? Open in browser. Don't want to open in browser. Yeah, Nico, I'm kind of with you. Constraints. Is there more? Is there any more information? Is this leak code? I feel like that's their emblem in the corner. I don't know if you can hear me at all. I'm trying to lean over and read. I guess my eyes are getting a lot worse. Input, output, longest valid. Oh, I bet you're on your phone, aren't you? That's why that's why it's this size. Okay, all right. Let me finish this, and then I will do my best to try to understand what exactly is being asked. All right. So now we need to test. We need to come in here. Let me go back to, I moved Discord over here so I could read it. Let's go back to jacked. All right. So then if it's 1,000,000, the base is 142,100, 142. Even said it, typed it. Tax rate of 17. And of course, then the min is, let's go back and make sure we're sticking. Now the base is 1,000,000. So I'm already, this is why I have to do this right here. So, all right. If it's greater, it's 1,000,000. The base is 1,000,000. The min tax, the tax min is 42,100. There we go. All right. So now let's run this. So $1,000,001. No, that's 100. Yep, $1,000,001. Let's run it. Taxes due. Taxes. No. Bingo. All right, run. All right. That's a lot of taxes. All right, and then let's change this to 50,000 to 57. So that should fall under right around here. So 40, let's see. Should be around 5,300. Oh, it's just that little. Oh yeah, because we're right towards the base. All right. Let's see. Anybody? All right. Everybody following how I built this and how I went about it. I just did incremental development, and this step right here is vital, because if I wouldn't have done that, I would have probably made a mistake down here. And I want to really address this one part again, because I know we got a lot of people coming in and out. Let me move this over. And let me make sure this is in screen. All right, it is. My first two buckets, my first two paths, either it was going to be taxed or it was not going to be taxed. You heading out? Yeah. Hey, have a good day. You too. All right. So is going to be taxed, is not going to be taxed. Now, inside of the taxes, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 different decisions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they had a range. Now, I did have to tweak this a little bit. Whoever designed this question did make a little mistake. And if you haven't been dealing with taxes for a while, you would do this mistake. So what we did is we tweaked this. So on the low end, it would be $24,999, $54,999, $199, blah, 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 because you can't have them overlapping. And we did that just here, and we just moved this, and we took their word problem and assigned a variable to it. And so each step, once we built this, we could just copy and paste and change our base. Now, I did address that as governments and decisions get changed, these would change. So we could, because what would really happen is there'd be levels. So we'd call this level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and then level 5. Now, also, it could change where there could be 6 levels. Somebody could come in and let's see. I think Nico was talking about something. Let's see. Oops. Didn't want to move that. Put that back there. Moving stuff around too quick without reading. All right. What is that, Nico? I have no idea. Are those little telephones or are those pots with lids on it? I can't tell. Because to me, as a kid, that looks like the old type of rotary phone from far away that I grew up with. The old rotary phone and the handle, the phone handle that sits on top. But now, if I were to look in closer, that may be a basket with a lid on it. I don't know. All right, so here we go. Let's go look at, okay, so you have a class object. So, okay, wow, we submitted a week and 4 days ago. Output to expected, output for expected to. I guess I'm not understanding, because most of the time I can figure it out from the examples. The longest, so given a string containing just the characters and return the length of the longest valid well-formed parenthesis substring. This is a weird question. Yeah, it is leak code. Okay. All right. So you started with a class object? I guess that seems like overkill to me to have it always, to have it go all the way to a I don't know if I can go to leak code page on here and not get I'm not quite sure of the copyright rules. I don't know. So, but since it's not homework, I have no problem doing this. So can you put the URL in the Discord, and I'll link to it off screen, so it won't at least be viewed and picked up by my OBS. Oh, and Nico, to answer your question of why it said live in 22 hours, so I think it was about an hour after the stream was scheduled to start, I went and moved it to the following day. So I guess it would have been probably 2 hours after. So, all right, everybody, if you're just jumping on, what we're doing is we went through a problem that somebody posted on Discord, and let's see. Let's see. How'd they do it? Oh, Jack did it a pretty darn good way. Did an int. Oh, I was thinking about this the other day of how to handle. I read a post somewhere, and somebody was asking explain input like I'm a 5-year-old. So, all right. Let's see. I think we just got the URL. All right, let me copy it and go to. And let me see if I can glean something that maybe I'm missing. So what we're doing right now, everybody, if you've not joined the Discord server, now would be a perfect time, because we're having a lot of discussions over there. All right. And we're looking actually at it's C. Okay. Can we change it to Python? All right, so it wants. They already default to a class object. That's so crazy. All right. Found also some dilemmas. I've gotten spoiled with my curved monitor already. That the corner of my other old monitor, which used to be my good monitor, seems so far away, and it hasn't moved. And that's what's so interesting to me. All right, let's see. So if you're just joining us, what we're doing is we're going through. You can follow along on Discord, and we're looking at some leak code challenges. Somebody posted longest valid parentheses. So I'm trying to really understand what the question is. So, all right, given a string containing the characters basically it was an open and closed parentheses. Return the length of the longest valid well-formed parentheses substring. Example, input S, it's an open, and a closed parentheses. So it's this right here. So let me copy this. Here's example 1. Let me see. Let me bring this down here. Put this 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. All right. I think everybody can see this very well. And let's just copy this. Here are the instructions. Maybe. All right. Move this over. All right. Given a string containing just the characters open and close parentheses, return the length of the longest valid, well-formed parentheses substring. That sentence makes no sense to me. Example 1. So here's the example. Input 1 S. The output should be 2. Explanation. The longest valid parentheses is... Aha. Okay. Now I get it. Here's example 2. Because you have an open and a closed. Now here's example 2. All right, I think I'm beginning to get it. Here's example 2, and then we may be able to start. And how many times did you say that you have attempted this? I think you wrote, I can't remember if you've put it in chat. Tried over 50 times. I think I saw that. Yeah, 67 attempts. All right. Let's see. Not to alienate everybody, but if you are just joining the stream, what we're doing is we're going through a leak code challenge right here. And this is actually the question right here. And what you're going to get is this example. The output is 2, and the explanation is this right here. And here's another input. And you have 4. The longest valid is this right here. So now I want to see. You started to write 1. So this isn't what my brain is going. There's a third example. Let's look at the third example before we go too crazy. Third example. Okay. Third example is just blank. And then there's something underneath this. Oh, the constraints. So, all right. Let's look at the constraints. It will be in between. What? All right. The longest substring of parentheses and open parentheses. So this is the building blocks of how we'd go about doing something like this. All right, the constraints are string length, so it could be between or 144. So all right, how many? Let's see, how many attempts have you done? 67. So one of the outputs you have as 4, and the expected is 2. All right, so see what you're doing in this output. Let's copy. See, they have to be the longest connected. So the one that you're failing is, I think you're counting if they are here. Let's do this. So the one that you just failed, I want to cut that. So let's look at this and see, and let's spread this out. All right. So I added some spaces to be able to view. Is that not what I just? No, I want to do exactly like it has it. It is open and closed. So you're returning 4 and the answer is 2. You're returning for expected 2. All right, so let's go through here. So you're counting both of these. What you need to be counting is they have to be side by side. Does that make sense? So that's the constraint right now. Longest valid parentheses substring. And let's see. You just came back. Oh, okay. My bad. So you are passing a lot of them. But one example that you're failing right here is if there's a break. So do you understand why this is failing? And what you're counting? So you're grouping them if they're occurring at all. So this is a dynamic sliding window. Have you seen any of my videos on dynamic sliding windows? Because all this is a variation of it. So here's an example. We'll do this and we'll bring this up here. And we can do it, but I don't want to do it for you because I honestly will be stealing. It won't be as valuable, but I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong. So right here, you're just counting all of them. And what you're supposed to be doing is when you count this and this and this now, the longest is 3. Then you have open, open, open. Then you have 1. Then you have 2. Then you have, all I got to do is just break it. So then you have an open. So right now it's still 3, but I bet in your output, your output is saying there's 5. And it's the longest. So now if this is open, 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 open. Let's clean this up. Spider's taking care of a lot of stuff for me here, and I don't want it, but it doesn't understand that I am doing an example of. So here we are. So now I would have an example of 4, and now my longest would become 4, and I bet your count is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. As you're counting and you're going through all of these and you're counting the occurrences, you want to redesign your algorithm to only count them as they're beside each other. Does that make sense? Does that help? Because right now that's about all I want to say, because if I solve this for you, I'm literally going to be stealing all of that from you. Sorry. Okay. All right. Makes sense? Because I feel pretty strongly this is what you're doing, and I'm going to look at your code right now. Let's see. So DNF equals 0 and 2 if wait a minute, if open close parentheses ns count yep d equals g times 2. Okay, so yeah, and if I don't get that else. All right, then you have an else statement. So yeah, you're doing exactly like I thought. So you're wanting to find the longest occurrence of open and closed parentheses. Does that make sense? I know this question seems weird, but I actually have an example of this, and all it is just changing the difference. So my dynamic window that the example that I had everybody do was A B C D A B A A B C D E A B C D E E F G and then A B C D. It was to find this as the longest substring of ascending orders. So what you'd have to do is I'm going to tiptoe around this and make sure the color's not bad. I want to tiptoe around this. So you want to man, I don't want to say too much. You need a counter, and you need the longest counter. Oh, so this is I also have a video called Jumping window, jumping dynamic window. So also, this actually may be more like the DAD. No, I don't need that. So I add so I had this. Okay, let's see. All right, here's your code. Else. Yeah. J. Okay. Well, with your first if, that's already, you're just counting. So, and then else, if it's not in there, which, so yeah, this is a perfect example of understanding the problem. So you're trying to solve the wrong problem. So this is the problem right here. How many parentheses, open and closed parentheses, do I have? And which one is the longest? So this would return, actually, I'm sorry. The longest right here would be 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. So in this example, we had an open and closed. It was 2, 1, 2. In this example, it was this open and closed, 4. And we also know, because you're failing on this one right here, because you're counting this open and closed and this open and closed, but you have a separator, a delimiter right here. So the longest out of this string, the longest substring of this is 2, but you're counting these individually. So it goes to this example where you're counting 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. And the answer is really, truly 8. Does that make sense? So what you have to do is come through here and set up your rules for, if this is closed, what does the next one have to be for me to count it again or care? So this is a great example. This is a perfect, this actually falls very much into Python brain and human brain, because right now, not to be rude, but your human brain is misunderstanding the problem. So you can't really solve, you can't even convert it into Python brain if your human brain is inaccurate. And that goes back to the very, very basis of what is your problem. What are you trying to solve? And right now, I mean, you built something that is counting. It's just counting the wrong thing right now. Because the correct answer for this, the output is 2. So your design is inaccurate. So your understanding of the problem is just off a little bit. I hope that helps. Does that help any? Because I don't want to go too far in this and solve this for you, because I don't want to steal this from you. But this is exactly like these problems that I've done tons and tons and tons of times. Dynamic window, sliding window, however you want to describe it. So if you are jumping on here, I do have a request. If you've not hit the like button, if you can do that for me, I'd very much appreciate it. That's not a good idea. All right, and if you've not joined the Discord server, we're actually having kind of parallel conversations over on the Discord server. And what we're doing right now is we're looking at a leak code example, and we're trying to drill down to make sure that we truly understand what the problem is. And I've been trying to emphasize this for a couple of weeks now, is especially at my last job, my old job, you can get into a room and you can very easily go down, it's an old term I used to hear growing up, go down a rabbit hole, and you end up discussing something that is not even pertinent to the process at hand, the goal at hand. There we go. That's a perfect, let's use that, because problem sometimes triggers some words for people. What's our goal? Our goal is to find this right here. And right now, the goal that you have is you're counting all of them, and you're over-counting them. You're counting them individually, not which one of the longest. So it would be the equivalent of this right here. So you're doing the example of dad, where DAD1, DAD2, DAD3, we did this example, DAD4, and then DAD5. You're counting. And in this example, and that's not quite A, B, C, D, E, F, E, F, G. Let's fix this. Apparently I can't count the alphabet while I'm typing. Repeat the alphabet. that would be the longest substring that you need to find. So think about a substring like this. This is the longest substring of the alphabet inside a collection of letters representing the alphabet. Where here, you want to find an uninterrupted group of open and closed parentheses, uninterrupted by other objects. Does that make sense? Because here's one of them that you shared that is failing, and it is interrupted by an open parentheses. And in your algorithm, you're counting these two and these two, but they're only counting because these two are independent of each other. So there's two. So I really hope that has helped. I don't want to say too much more, because if I say too much more, you'll get the answer. Well, this is awesome. In this stream alone, I think we've gotten 3 new members on the Discord server. So that's fantastic. We are now at 311 members on the server, and I just think that's absolutely awesome. So let's see. All right, we have quite a few people jumping on and off. If you have not hit that like button on this video, please go ahead and do that for me. We've been getting a lot of traction as a channel. Not back to the old days of the channel, but it is growing rapidly again, and I really appreciate everybody being here and hanging out with us and asking really good questions. This channel is not as good as it is without the viewers and the good questions that you guys pose. So thank you very, very much. All right. Is it Kenneth? Hang on. My bad. And is Jacked here today? I can't. And I didn't even tell everybody we were live. Let's see. Everyone, I'm live. Yes. I hate that it asks, are you sure you want to send that out to everybody? Yes, I took the time to type at everyone. All right. Janth. Let's see. Janth just joined today and is working through this issue. And what it appears to me is that this is another variation of the dynamic sliding window. So it's a leak code problem. So if you're just joining us, we're looking at a leak code problem. And it started out over on Discord. And actually, so did this text problem. It came up the other day. Gave some very subtle hints of how to attack a problem like this. And then after this was Jacked's problem that Jacked posted. And so then I thought it was a great example after they said they solved it, because I was not going to solve it, was going to give as many hints as possible. And now we have a leak code problem from Janth, and they're stuck right here. So what the dilemma is it's a substring, longest substring contained in a string. And we've done a few of these, and what we are kind of hung up on right now is making sure we understand what the problem is. You can go down a rabbit hole and solve all kinds of issues of problems that don't exist. And it's very easy to do. Please don't think I'm making light of this situation. It is extremely interesting to do. But it's vital step 0 is, do I understand the problem? And right now, I don't believe we do not understand what the problem is, just because this output right here tells me, because here was the sample input, of these parentheses, and Janth's is counting 2, 4. But the longest, where they are independent, is just one of these, but they're counting them as 2 characters. So it's a pair. So basically we're counting the pairs. So I gave an arbitrary example of this one right here. So we have 3 pairs, 2 pairs, 4 pairs. So what I would count is I would count these 4 and I would return 8. Venki, how are we doing? Let's see. Opening, closing brackets, get to append, else pop an index. Let's see. Yeah, but then what do you do? How are you gonna handle this? You gotta then. So which one would you return? So we got to make sure we get some. So right now, my human brain goes, okay, I return this. But now the subtlety is, what are we going to do? Hang on. Janth has one. Let's do this. Let's copy this. Let's see if I can copy it. So for this example, all right. Oh, are you saying that it would be 1, 2, 3? So do you have a sample output for this? For this sample output, what is it going to be? So, well, I do need a clarification. So if this is incorrect, then possibly 2, 4, 6. What is the, because then we have another and then this is exactly what I'm talking about. Do we understand the problem? So it is the answer to this 2 or is the answer to this 6? Do you have access to that with LeetCode? I don't know if I've done LeetCode. Haven't done it in a long time. So what is the proper output, expected output for that one? All right, everybody. So if you're just joining us, we're going through a LeetCode challenge. Hey, Instagram, how are you? We're going through a LeetCode challenge, and we're kind of having a parallel conversation over on Discord. So if you've not joined the Discord server down below, it's in the general chat with a new member, Janth K, and it's finding the longest substring. But we may have a caveat here, where because right now, I would really have to put my thinking cap on about how in the world to do this. And I haven't used, like I said, if I have used LeetCode, let me try something. Copy, paste, and test cases. Have I, let's see. Aha. So there we go. So then we have, so this one, I'm curious, what is the level of this? So your standard output 2, expected 6. Sorry. So now we have another dilemma. Expected 6. What level of coding challenge is this? I'm just curious. So now we have an issue. So we have nested. So we have two problems to handle. I'd have to sit and think about this. I don't know if I'd have. It's hard. Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah, this is absolutely hard. Do I even have a leak code? I do not have a leak code, so I cannot log in to test this, and I don't want to be doing this. So if you're just jumping in and out, what we're doing is we're looking at a leak code, and if you've not hit that like button, go ahead and do me a big favor. Hit that like button, and if you would, hit the subscribe button as well, and join the Discord server because we're having a lot of conversations over there. So we have an issue right here. So basically, well, let's do human brain, and then we can see. So we have this issue right here, open and closed. Now I think I see what you're doing about going through. Let's see. So let's go through. So it's got multiple issues. So it's not just that's rude for me to say it's just. All right. Let's design something of how our human brain would make this decision. So how did I go about and how did I make that decision? All right. So we've now just hit 312 on Discord. That is fantastic. So what we're doing is I went, okay, open. All right, we're good. Open. All right, we're still good. Open, we're good. So we need to have a counter of this. So I'm not going to solve this today. I want you to solve this, but I will help you with human brain. All right, I will help design this. Do you think you can do this right here? So basically, you're close. You're counting too much. So if you've not looked at my dynamic sliding window, that's important to look at. One. Basically, you can have an open parenthesis and an open. So if we look right here, open parenthesis, open parenthesis. That's okay, but then we had open parenthesis. So right now, this is already trash. Because, well, let's figure out the rule of why this is 6. Okay. So open. So this doesn't count. So what I'd love to know is is there an example, Jant, is there an example like this? If you can find one, because I don't want to design all human brain here and then it be completely wrong. So if you're just joining us, what we're doing is we're going through a leak code challenge. So what I want to know, Jant, is, so this is our example, and then what happens if it does that? Hey, Danny. So is this 8? Is there an example like this? Because this is an acceptable. Awesome, Danny. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. If you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and do that for me. If you just subscribed, which you said you just did, thank you. Also join the Discord server because this is actually a parallel conversation we're actually having over on Discord as well. So Janth, this is the example we just had up here, and then I added another one. See if you can find an example of this. So would this be 6 or would this be 8? Because we need to understand, because we'd have to count this. So open, 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 completely legal, close, 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 open, close. And then if we throw this in here like this, boom, it goes down to 6. Okay, let's see. Expected 6. All right, let's copy this. Can you put that like you did into chat? Because I can't, since it's an image, I can't copy it. So on the last one, what you did is you gave the example and then you gave me the parentheses, and I could copy it, so I can 100%. But it looks like 1, 2, 3. Actually, I can see that 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. Yeah, but I want a nested beside an open and closed. So I wanted something like, let's see. Yeah, this make perfect. Then I'm going to show you the difference of what I was saying, because I need to understand. So we have 2. So we have 6. Then we have 1, 2. Makes sense? Because then we're facing the other way. So I need to know, I need you to look through and see if there's an example like this. Because we're going to need to have a decision boundary here. Because we can easily do this one. Open, closed, open, closed, open, close. But if we have an open, close, if we have nested, and then we go and open, close, would this be 6 or would that be 8? Because what I would suggest you doing is having a decision. This is going to be exactly like this. If it's open, I can be open beside it, and I can keep continuing. So I have a counter, 1, 2, 3. So I'm counting these open. And as long as I go 1, 2, 3, I'm good. But now I fail because now I have another closed, but I only had 3 opens. So as I'm counting through this, and again, I'll help you with human brain, but I'm not going to do Python brain for you. I want you to do it. But right now, we don't even have this designed. So I would have it. So I would go through here. No, I don't want it. I almost started. Let's see. You gave us a little bit more. Let's see. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Awesome. So that's 8. Okay. Do you get why that's 8? So now my human brain completely gets it. And I need to, before we go and design this in human brain, do you get it? Do you need to put the quotes? No, it's the quotes are being passed in. Nico, it's a string, so the quotes are already there. No, what we're doing is we're having to come up with design an algorithm. Because right now what we're doing, whenever I say Python or human brain, I'm talking pseudo algorithm. So we need to design this. So basically, we're continuously counting. So this is 8. And we're going to spread this out. Boom. All right. So if I were to change anything in here, if I were to add one of the other parentheses anywhere in here, this goes to 6. This goes to 6 very quickly. Now, if I were to move this and put this here, oops. If I were to come up here and put this here, this goes, well, that turns into 2. Oh, this is an interesting one. This goes to 1. All right, so open, 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 closed. Now here's it. The only reason why I'm good at this now, because a year ago, definitely 2 years ago, probably even a year ago, I would not be able to do this. But I was partnered with somebody who is unbelievable at edge case testing. And basically, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And we need to be prepared for it. So I'm sitting here and I'm going, all right, so what is this one? So these are, technically, this is completely legal. So this should be 1. Do you have an example of this? Because I need to know this right here, because I would think, I'm looking at this more of like math problems. So, because right now, and Python has the same rules as math with enclosure. PEMDAS, parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtractions, attraction, PEMDAS. So the same rules. So I would say, since this is completely legal, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 2, 10. Janth, is there an example like this? Because I think this is 10. Are you seeing how human brain pseudo algorithm is doing this? So if this is 10, as long as whatever the last character was, what can the next one be? And you need to go through all the scenarios in human brain in the pseudo algorithm. Yeah, Vinky, I think it's 10, but I don't know with the leak code. If you haven't gone and checked over on our Discord server, we do have this leak code. Hang on. There's an example like that. 10. Huh. Okay. So I 100% get this. So, and it's basically the exact same way that I would do it. Like when I do nested methods or functions. Let me show you an example. I'm trying to think. Zip dot list zip list range 5. So this is completely legal because I have open. So how I would do this when I'd have a problem is I'd go open. So then I need to have 3 opens. I have 3 opens, so I've got to have 3 closes. And then if I go another open, I'm fine, but I better have another close. So let's go through here. So open, close. So I'm good. But then I can then also have another open and closed. This is completely legal. But where it gets stupid is that right there. And Python's trying to help me. It's like, hey, you had another open. What do you need? So I really need, let's see. Close. Did I just make that legal? Yep. So are you following me right here? Bad. So it's actually the basis of this algorithm of counting the open and closed parentheses. So what you have to do is you have to have a counter. So I would come up and I would don't want to say too much. So you need to come up with a pseudo algorithm. Why is this good? Why is this bad? Why is this bad? And then, why is that good? Legal. Not legal. Follow me? So, don't think that you've been struggling with this because you can't write code. You're struggling with this because you didn't quite understand the problem. And that's 100 and I can't say that enough. That is 100% normal. A month ago, I was working with very brilliant professionals, and we were trying to solve the wrong problem. Human beings do that all the time. Doesn't matter how smart you are. It matters the control. How much control do you have over your ego? That's what your problem is. So, sit down, go, wait a second. All right. So it's the rules that Python has and the rules that math have of doing a math problem. So I'm going to go 6 open parentheses 7 minus 5 plus boom and then boom 3 plus 1 completely legal, and then now all of a sudden now this is illegal. See? It won't allow me to do it. It needs one more. That's the rule. Is it completely legal? Do I have open and closed? Are they nested? Is it this? Because if I throw in one more, this is now illegal because I have an extra open. I have an extra closed, and I need to do this to make this now a legal statement. All right. Didn't know exactly what we'd talk about today because I knew we were going to fly through this right here, but this is I could not have predicted this or planned this better myself. But this is Python brain, human brain, planning, understanding the problem. What is the problem? And once you understand that, it gets a lot easier. Did you see how I was asking questions? Well, what does it want to have as an answer for this scenario? What does it want to have for an answer for this scenario? So I am nowhere near as good as the partner that I had for edge case testing, but I learned from them what can be the weirdest scenario that you can come up with. And what we did is we tested and we pushed it until we understood what the rules were. So once you put in an extra parenthesis, boom, it breaks it. So everything contained inside of that. So when we went to here, let's see. So now this is illegal, but still everything over here. So actually it just stayed the same. All right. So I doubt, I'm really hoping I helped. I don't know if I did. Let's see. Oh, you're typing something. I'll wait. But you've got to, just kind of like our problem that we just did. Yeah, Janth, you were typing a little bit just a second ago. So how would you go through, how would you count this as a human brain? And why is that okay? Why is that okay? Why is that okay? Okay, we're still good. We're still good. Still good. Still good. Still good. Still good. Still good. Not good. So why and what does this count? So you, as you're going through legal, because I mean you can keep having the same number. So make sure you're designing this as the pseudo. Perfect. 100% normal. 100% normal. All right, so you go work on that. How long have we been on? Hour and a half. Oh, and I did something that I did not know I was able to do, and my son was making fun of me. I've been recording this whole session, so I don't have to then wait for YouTube to come through and then download it. So maybe we will be able to have a bunch of shorts off of this. We'll see. All right, before I drop, anything pertinent that we need to talk about? Because we had a lot of new people jump in. That's awesome. And probably what we'll do tomorrow is we will solve this, because I think, because if I start to solve this now, and I don't want to solve this without you guys, because I want to show, because I mean I cheated a little bit and I've already figured out what the rules are for this design. But we're going to code this, because even if you take it into human brain or pseudo algorithm, the conversion from pseudo algorithm to Python brain, or the real algorithm that will actually be making the decisions, that has its challenges. That has its own challenges, and you want to make sure that you use all the proper tools, the correct tools in the correct way, and going from there. But before we drop, is there anything pressing that anybody wants to ask, needs help with, any quick questions? And then probably tomorrow we'll do a live coding on this, and I'll get some clarification if I can talk about a coding platform in the video. I think I can. I think that falls under fair use, but I'm not sure. I do not need to get into any copyright infringements. I really don't want to be sued while I'm unemployed. Well, don't want to get sued at all, but definitely not while I have income coming in. But I am going to be getting my severance the next few weeks. Fingers crossed. Finally filled out the last paperwork. So if you know anybody who needs a data engineer or a data analyst or a junior data scientist, please recommend me or send me the job posting. Maybe, but yeah, I've been getting a ton of rejection emails, trying to not to get too frustrated, but I understand that this is going to be a while. I just hope I don't have to regress and go back to some of my other type of jobs, because we're pretty hard to get here. But like I said, it'll be what it'll be. So now, did you see how Python's saying? So this actually makes sense of why this algorithm is pretty important, because if you look, this algorithm is actually functioning inside of Spider, and it's checking this. It's saying, okay, green, good, 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 and bad. It's like, where do you want this? This, and this is bad too. So if you look at it, this is bad, and then let's see. How do we see how we're making this? And this is, now, how many did we have to add? We added one, 2, 3, 4. So to make this legal, we had to add 4. So right now, this went from 1, 2, so 8, This went from 8 to 8, 9, 10, 11. And we added 3, and we need one more. Bingo. That's how many that took to enclose all of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I think that is pertinent information to know how to use all of this. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like I said, we're at an hour and 40. I think that's right. Let's check OBS. Hour and 43. Yeah, it took a long time to load up. Hope everybody has a good rest of their day. I think a lot of everybody is on the other side of the planet other than me. It's still early here. But if you've not hit that like button, please go ahead and do that. I know we had 4 or 5 jump over on Discord today, which was absolutely very cool. Let's see. Starting this morning, 1 jumped on right at, so 3:09, 10, 11, and 12. So we had 4 join today during today's stream. So absolutely awesome. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Jant, that's how I'd say it. Thank you for the great question today. Takeaways from today: make sure you understand the question by really testing the edge cases. Can't say that enough, because if you begin, I remember when I was doing my first style of martial arts, one of the lessons was an old proverb that I think the emperor was coming to town, and the lord, one of the regional lords was having the emperor, and he wanted his son to do something very exceptional for him. So the son was going to write the emperor's name on some paper, and he was learning very, very pretty writing, and the instructor came in and was teaching the young man, here's the shape of what 1 is, here's the shape of 2, here's the shape of 3. Well, 1, 2, and 3 was just a repeat of 1. So 3 is 1, 2, and 3. Just you write it 3 times. So the young man, being of noble descent, had probably an easy life. You could say spoiled, arrogant, things like this. So when the teacher, tutor, instructor was going to show him 4, sends him away and says, I now know enough. So the young man goes to his room and is trying to write the emperor's name, and it's getting closer and closer and closer. And the emperor's name meant, or the lord or whatever, meant 1 million. So the young man is in his room, and he is writing this one character 1 million times, or attempting to. But the long and short of it, if he just waited a little bit longer, the way to write 1 million only took 4 characters. So that's the takeaway for today. Ensure that you understand what the problem is before you solve it. Make sure because if you were here early enough and you saw how I was taking to it, I began asking questions very quickly. How were these determined? So I thought it was more like this, but then we got some information here, and then I said, well, wait a second. What is this? Is this 6 or is this 8? So basically the rule is if it is legal, I think, is that the term? Valid. So the longest valid parentheses substring. So they kind of leave us hung out to dry here with this example, because what they should have done is should have given us a fail here. I mean, that's okay. But if they were to have also then given us a nested right here, or had this be nested, and I would have given probably 2 more examples. But I guess you can see the output here. So I'm not going to work on this tonight. I'm probably going to think about it. But I do that all the time when I was at work, where I spent very little time actually at my computer. I did almost all of my thinking in my head. I would go for a run. I'd go for a walk in the yard. I'd come back, and then I would debug and things like that. But I always hit deadlines, and I always got everything done. All right. Now I'm rambling. Now I can hear myself. I'm rambling. So we're going to wrap up for today. But thank you, as always, for everybody. We had a pretty big group today. Love having you guys here. Really great questions. Love the growth of the channel. Love the growth of the community on Discord. Super good questions. And we'll meet back up tomorrow, and we're going to solve this problem right here. All right. Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye.